Good evening, visitors. Welcome to the Australian War Memorial's last post ceremony. My name is Robert Allen, and joining us today from the Royal Australian Air Force is Wing Commander Steve Wiedemann. This evening, we warmly welcome the family of Lance Corporal James Gavin, whose story will be told shortly. We welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that love and support them. The live stream of this ceremony is made possible by the Returned and Services League of Australia and the RSL and Services Clubs Association. We welcome members who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the pool of reflection by family and visitors to the memorial. If you are able, please stand and join in singing the national anthem. If you require a seat, please do so. The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit, in the heart of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight, we will read the story behind just one of those on the Rolls of Honour, which lists the names of more than 103,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and on operations for more than a century. But first, we present a lament. Flowers of the forest. Wreaths or floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the pool of reflection.
Today we remember and pay tribute to Lance Corporal James Gavin. James Gavin was born at John Darien on the Darling Downs in Queensland on the 20th of March 1886, the son of James and Mary Gavin. His father worked for the Railway Department in Toowoomba before taking up a property at Peachey. James was educated at the Peachey State School where his mother worked. He went on to become a farmer, probably on his father's property, which the family transformed from a wilderness into an established property over several years. James Gavin's parents were staunchly Catholic, and he grew up in a family of 7 boys and 2 girls. He was well known on the Darling Downs and reportedly most popular in this district. James Gavin enlisted in the Australian Imperial Force in mid-1915 and was soon one of 3 brothers on active service in different units. Another 2 brothers would enlist later in the war. James was among the first recruits posted to the newly formed 31st Battalion. After undergoing a period of training, he left Australia on the troop ship Wandella on the 9th of November 1915. James was first sent to Egypt, where he was joined by Anzac forces evacuated from Gallipoli. After several months of training in the desert, he proved an able soldier and was later promoted to Lance Corporal. In mid-June, he was sent to France to fight on the Western Front, disembarking at Marseille on the 23rd of June 1916. The 31st Battalion did not have to wait long to participate in the operations in France. On the 19th of July, less than a month after arriving in Marseille, and just 3 days after entering the front line for the first time, the battalion took part in the Battle of Fromelles. This was a feint to the north of the major campaign of the Somme, and it was hoped the attack would prevent German reinforcements from moving south. It was a disaster, however. The 31st Battalion suffered 572 casualties, more than half its strength, in just a few hours. To this day, Fromelles is remembered as one of Australia's worst military operations, with more than 5,500 Australians of the 5th Division becoming casualties in just 24 hours. Among those killed was Lance Corporal James Gavin. Nothing is known of the manner of his death, but unlike many of his comrades killed on the same day, his body was recovered from the battlefield and buried. Today, he lies in the Rue Petillon Military Cemetery in Fleur Bay. James' father chose a long inscription for his grave. It read, "A sorrowing people cried aloud that they were of their hero proud. He helped to build his country's name and died in bringing her to fame." This was too long for the space available on his headstone, so today he lies under the words, "Though nothing can the loss replace a dear one taken from our side." The Gavin family from Peachey in Queensland gave a great deal during the First World War. George served 3.5 years in Palestine before being sent home sick. John served the same amount of time with the artillery in France before being sent home gassed. Joseph served with the Light Horse and Stephen with the Service Corps, both in the Middle East. James was the one son to lose his life. He was 30 years old. His name is listed on the Roll of Honour on my right, amongst almost 62,000 Australians who died while serving in the First World War. His photograph is displayed today beside the pool of reflection. This is but one of many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Lance Corporal James Gavin, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and in the hope of a better world.
Please stand for the reading of the Ode and the sounding of the last post.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them.
We will remember them.
Thank you.
lest we forget.
Lest we forget. We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Pozières or in the low scrub at Gallipoli, with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain, has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they'll be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, that concludes the last post ceremony. On behalf of the Director and staff, thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial today and for your continued support of the Memorial's development project. We wish you all a very pleasant evening. Thank you.